It also comes with these 5 differently sized nozzles that can be attached to the hot air iron. There's not much to say about these. It is pretty cool that they came with. I hear they're not really necessary. Just the bare nozzle by itself is usually enough. But it is pretty nice that it comes with. And there's dozens more that you can get online. They're kind of expensive, especially for the larger ones. Like these ones that are for 4-sided ICs, surface mount ICs. This isn't very much at all. This is just a piece of plastic with a piece of wire attached to it, basically. A springy fork, if you will. This is an IC lifter, so you're supposed to be able to slip this under chips that you're desoldering with the hot air iron and pry them up, but most of the chips that we work with, or that I work with at least, are pretty much flat to the board, and this won't even fit under it. And it comes also with a extra pair of prongs. So this is an extra carbon filter that goes in here for the fume exhauster that will absorb some of the lead fumes. And if you don't want this attached at all, you can take this whole thing off, and you can screw this on, which is just a gate that will allow airflow for the hot air iron, because they're attached to the same pump. The hot air iron obviously blows hot air, and the fume extractor sucks in air, sucks in the fumes, so it's actually all on the same system. So if you don't want that attached at all and you want to just get rid of this, then you can put this on if you want. Lastly, it does come with an instruction manual, which I was actually kind of surprised about because of how Chinese it is. As you can see, it's pretty much purely China. I was lucky to be able to get it from Foxborough, Massachusetts, so I wouldn't have to pay outrageous shipping charges, but the company itself that makes the iron is completely Chinese, and therefore I was also surprised that it's translated quite well. It's only 16 pages long. I can scan this if anyone's interested, because I wasn't able to find it online, but there's not much to know. I guess there were a couple things that were helpful to know, but it's a soldering station, you know, it heats up. These are the things I got from Jamco in addition to the solder spool. This is a SMD tweezer set. These are specifically made for holding surface mount devices in place as you solder them, and should be extremely useful. I had a pair like these before, but they weren't as strong, they didn't hold as well, and they were worn, so their tips were kind of dull. This one here is reverse action, so it should be extremely helpful as a clamp. You press down and release, and it'll hold the part there without you having to apply any further tension. This is a desoldering pump that will suck up solder when it's in liquid form. The idea is you press this down, and when you are using your other hand, which I don't have free because I'm holding the camera, to melt the solder with your soldering iron, you go like that, press the button, and it'll suck the solder up through this nozzle. But that's the idea of it anyway. But I guess you get what you pay for, because I only paid like $5 for it, and it does not work very well. What seems to be happening is it jams like 90% of the time, because the solder is attaching itself to this post here, which I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen, but it doesn't work well for me, because when you press it back down to charge it up and get ready to suck up more solder, the post has to go through here, protrude a little bit through this hole, and when the solder is wrapped around it, it makes that post wider at the end, obviously, so it jams up and won't go through this hole. So that was kind of annoying. Maybe there's a technique to it that I have not learned yet, but this did not work very well for me. I'll probably still use it because it does work. It's just annoying because it has to be cleaned out every like 2 minutes. So This is just a desoldering wick or desoldering braid. Some people call it one or the other. Very thin. The idea is you lay this over top of a connection over a solder joint and heat it up with your soldering iron, and this will wick up the solder once it's melted. So this usually works better for people than desoldering pumps, but I got both because they were both really cheap and I wanted to see which one would work better. I hadn't used either of them before because I haven't had to desolder anything that was quite as small as the things I'll be working on. So we'll see which one works better. I'm sure it'll be the wick, but this is depletable too, so that's why I got the pump as well. The last thing I got from Gamecube was this glue gun, because I had a glue gun before, but it was about 1/4 the size. It was this tiny little thing, and I had a bunch of these glue sticks that were too big for it. I got the wrong kind, and I have a bunch of these that will fit in this, but won't fit in my mini glue gun. And as most of my forum members know, that's kind of an ongoing thing, that glue guns are like one of your most important tools, in addition to, of course, a soldering iron and a Dremel, which I do have, but I had that before though. So, and the last thing I have that I got today from eBay is a laptop hard drive, 2.5-inch hard drive, IDE, which is very important for this project. I might have been able to get a cheaper one. This cost me $30. It's 40 gigabytes. But IDE laptop hard drives are becoming harder to find with SATA now. So they're actually more expensive. There's not much to say about this. It's a 40 gigabyte hard drive. That should be plenty for any games I want to store on it. The maximum size for a GameCube game is 1.35 gigabytes, so this will store quite a few of them. Okay, so right before this last clip that I'm recording here, I took a small break of maybe an hour or two, and I guess in that time I got sick, which, you know, doesn't happen to me. I get sick like once every 2 years. So I don't know why that had to happen now, but so my throat's a little scratchy. Apologize for that. Unless I pass out, then I'm not going to stop working on this project. But anyway, sorry. All that's left now is I ordered the parts from DigiKey yesterday. The parts that will actually, you know, the chips and the capacitors, the parts that will actually be soldered on the board itself. So I'm not sure exactly when they'll get here, but I'm sure it'll be soon. When they do, I will be sure to post another video blog and update everyone. It won't be nearly as long as this one. I'll update everyone, show that everything arrived okay. And what I'm going to do is I need to test fit the parts on a paper printout of the circuit board that I designed to make sure that everything lined up the way it's supposed to, because I had to design a lot of the parts myself based on their measurements in their data sheet, their mechanical drawings. So I am pretty sure, you know, I triple checked everything, pretty sure all my measurements are on, but to be sure I want to place all the parts on the paper itself and make sure all my pads are the right size, make sure things aren't too close together. I might have to redesign, and I don't want to send the board off to SparkFun until I'm sure the board is okay. So after I do that, make sure everything's okay, I'm going to post the design to the thread on the Ben Hack forums, and have as many people as I can confirm that everything looks good, make sure there's nothing stupid I missed, and then I'll be sending that off to SparkFun. That'll be the very last thing. That'll probably take 20-25 days or so. because they're so cheap, and there's a reason for that. So they take a while to get board sent. So coincidentally, my camera battery is about to die. So I guess that about wraps this up. This first video blog, and I look forward to posting my second one soon.